pretty good question, pretty hard. I put on like a 4 out of 5 in terms of difficulty. And the reason I think it's a good question is because a lot of the time when I'll go and I'll analyze the question and break it down, I'll take a really linear approach. You just do one thing after another, right? And that goes back to the importance that I give to methodology when you're trying to solve it. So you want to have a methodical approach. You're not wasting time going back and forth and not making real progress on the question. That being said, there's some questions that you just can't really approach perfectly linear. To be fair, most of them you can. But there's some that you can't. And this would be one of those examples here that I'm going to give to you. So that you'll see a little bit of back and forth between answer choices, question, text, a little bit of back and forth. But ultimately, you should be able to get your answer choice in a quick, concise, direct way. So the question asks, how does Smith develop her argument that slavery as a political question over the course of the passage? My first thought when I look at this is the fact that it's talking about the development of their argument, right? Develop the argument. This tells me that we're not going to be dealing with a specific one piece of text, but maybe 2 or 3 pieces of text, because we're talking about a development, we're talking about a change that occurs over the course of the passage. So one of the things that I'll do to help me in this situation, because I don't really know where the SAT is going just yet, is I'll look down at the answer choices here. And one thing I'll notice is this. So what I'm doing is I'm separating these two into 2 parts. Because you should notice that all of these choices are split into 2. So A says, 1, she claims the designation is outdated, designation is outdated, then offers alternative definitions. B says she dismisses the designation as too narrow, but then demonstrates relevance to her audience. C, you get the point, right? So divide it into 2 parts. This tells us that more than likely at the beginning of the text, she has some sort of opinion about the designation of slavery as a political question. And then in the later part of the text, she has sort of another opinion that maybe it's not contradictory, but it shows a little bit of change or it emphasizes something else that's different. So what we should do now is go back to the beginning of the passage and look for like a clear instance where she's talking about a political question. We can do this by scanning for the word political question and then making sure that it's being emphasized enough. Because what you'll notice is in this text, the political question part is, you see it throughout the whole passage. But there's only a few distinct places, really 2 for our purposes, where she dives into what that means and discusses it more in depth. So I found those 2 for us here. The first part is going to be right off the bat, where she basically says the designation of slavery is a political question. She challenges that and says, look, it is not true that it is merely a political question, right? It is likewise a question of these things. So it's not just a political question, it's more than that. This is a nice clear instance here where she first takes the thing of the question of a political question or the designation of political question and refers to it there. What we'll see next is we get to this word but, which we know is usually pretty important when we're introducing something, right? It's a nice little indication that what's going to follow is important. But admitting it to be a political question, there's our line again. Have we no interest in the welfare of our country? She continues by going down along the ways, talking about how the political question matters. So how we find these 2 texts is kind of interesting. Like I said, we scan the political question. 2, we make sure that it's relevant, that it's important information to be emphasized. And honestly, 3, this is where I use a little bit of back and forth. I kind of look through these answer choices, I look back at the text, and I sort of try to match what might be going on. And eventually we should be able to end up with these 2 points on the text. The first part here, she's basically saying, look, it is a political question, the issue of slavery, but it's not just that. It's so much more than that. So if you just call it a political question, you're missing the point. You're missing the full range of issues that involve justice, humanity, morality, and religion. The second part here basically says, look, even if you do admit it to be a political question, so what? Shouldn't women be involved in a political question like this? Shouldn't they be concerned about their country, et cetera, et cetera? Those are the 2 places in the text. And we should expect our answer choice to have something to do with those 2 things that we just mentioned. So now we go to the answer choices. Remember, we have 2 parts of them. One part is wrong, the whole thing is wrong. So we'll just look at them part by part. It's part 1 right, it's part 2 right. So A says she claims the designation is now dated one, and then offers alternative definitions. Now, in terms of mood, in terms of emotion, this kind of matches our text in the sense that she starts off with sort of a negative stance towards calling the question of slavery a political question, and then sort of comes around and says, look, even if it is, right, what does that matter? this kind of captured that it's a little bit negative, then it's positive later. But let's focus on what it specifically says. She claims the designation is an outdated one. So is this first part, does she say it's outdated? And if we read through it, you're not going to find any evidence that she said it's outdated. All she says is that it's not just a political question, it's so much more than that. But no mention where it's outdated. So for that reason, we give it a B. B, she dismisses the designation as too narrow. Let's start there. Does the first part say that the designation of slavery as a political question is too narrow? I think it matches pretty good because she's basically saying, look, it's not just a political question. That definition is too narrow. It's more than that. We need to broaden the scope of what the issue of slavery is about. It's not just a political question. It's more than that. So this first part works pretty good. How about the second part? Demonstrates its relevance to our audience. It's very general. It doesn't say too much. It's kind of hard to disprove that. And it does match the second part because she's basically saying it is relevant to us, right? A political question is something that we should be concerned about. She's also using this collective pronoun we, which will make the point about addressing her audience even more strong. She's using this collective pronoun we. So it's a good answer case here. C says she contends that the designation has become trite, then invites her audience to revitalize it. This one, like A, sort of like B, has this nice structure of negative and positive. Right? Playing positive and negative will get you a lot of traction on the test. We have to be careful of just relying on, even though it has this right dimension, this right dynamic of negative to positive, thinking it's trite and then revitalizing it. We need to focus specifically on what it's saying. So saying that the designation has become trite is a specific claim. Trite means cliche, overused. It means something like that. So if we want to see if this works, we got to go back and say, does she call the designation of political question trite, overused, etc.? And honestly, in this area here, she doesn't. All she says is that it's not just this; it's so much more than that. She never likes it's overused, etc., etc. So for that reason, it doesn't seem very strong. C, or the second part, invites her audience to revitalize it. This could work. It works a little bit better. Referencing the second part. But even so, it's pretty specific, and I don't really see too much about her audience revitalizing it. I think this one is better, demonstrating its relevance. So for that reason, let's give it a C. D says she describes the meaning the designation has for men. Does she do that in the first part? Without even really going back to it, we can say no. That's not what she's doing. She's not saying this is what it means to men, and then later saying what it means to a person. For that reason, get rid of it and choose B.